Yo, everyone, welcome to Pub Sports Radio. His name is Jeff Nadu, big man on campus. My name is Peter Loshak. We do this every Saturday morning. Jeff, it's a crazy time of year. I love it though. I'm doing pretty well in college basketball. I'm a little behind because I'm hitting all these college basketball things. I'm a little behind on today's show right now because I'm hitting the Brown UMKC under 138 and Tennessee State Southeastern Louisiana over at 144. Those start at 11 a.m. But we're going to cover the entire college football card right now. All the games. I got a whole bunch of plays that I've made. I'm not sure if I'm going to hold on to them, but I got a lot of bets today. I'm feeling pretty good. Jeff Nader, we'll get into it. How are you doing? How you feel about today's card in general?
Feeling great, Peter. I'm looking forward to it. We have a lot of very good spots today. Season's winding down. Let's do it.
A lot of very good spots today. All right, I'm so far behind. Just because I'm looking at college. For this show, for my preparation, getting all my sheets up here because of college basketball. I got to pull up the sheets. Here we go. College football week 13 Nadu show. There we go. All right, let's quickly glance the comment section, see if anyone has anything to say, and we'll get right into it. Justin McElvey stacks play of the day is Virginia. That's interesting. That's one of the games that Jeff Nadu has requested to talk about. Shout out Melvin Betances, Lucas R. Julian Cesario, what's up, fam? Let's go. Yes, let's go. I think we're going to have a good, once again, I got to hit two of these college basketball totals that start at 11 a.m. I guess we should wait for some people. No, fuck it. If they're late, they lose. All right, let's start, Nadu. Let's start. Houston and Central Florida, 12 noon game is the first game that you wanted to talk about. Houston lost to Oklahoma State. UCF, of course, lost at Texas Tech. Close. They did cover. I had Texas Tech in that one. That was frustrating. Texas Tech -2.5. I had some on the money line, but my public picks was at -2.5, and they won the game straight up, but lost ATS. And now, Central Florida, big favorite here, 2 touchdowns. Not really sure about Central Florida at this line. Definitely leaning over, though. And I did bet that one a little bit. It's right at about 61. I think I'm still liking it. UCF does have to be bowl eligible. What's your take on this one, Jeff?
Yeah, this is a big game, obviously, for UCF. You guys hear me all right? You guys got me now? All right, beautiful. Yeah, I like the over in this game, Peter.
Okay, right.
Yeah, I look at it. I think when you look at Houston, I mean, they're playing for nothing here. This is obviously a big game for UCF. They win, they're in. It's a bowl eligibility spot. I don't think there's a question of whether they're going to win or not. But the question is, how many points can Houston score? The offense has had no trouble moving the football. This is a typical Dana Holgorsen offense. Look, is it last year's offense? No, but it's still a group that can get into the 20s, into the 30s. You look at what they did last week against Oklahoma State, couldn't stop anybody, scored 30 points. That's kind of how I envision this game. They can't stop the run. UCF can throw the ball. They can run the ball. Defensively, they're not great either. They're giving up nearly 27 points a game. This is just one that I just gravitated towards. I still wonder, Peter, why is Houston bringing back Dana Holgorsen next year? They've already said they're going to bring him back. Feels like they're kind of falling by the wayside in the Big 12. But, another year, I worry that maybe they just quit the second half if they're down 21 or 28. That's the concern here with the over. But this screams to me like 38-27, something like that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I bet the over. Let's see where it is right now. I can't even. So much crap going on here, trying to sneak some college basketball bets in here while we're talking about this. The line hasn't moved up. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
You're always betting on something.
Well, Saturday morning, yeah. Yeah, Saturday morning, yeah, 61 hasn't really moved since the first line I saw, but that's fine. Although the side, look at that! Wow, Florida crossed 14, minus 15.5. I would have expected the total to maybe move a little bit, and so I also like the Central Florida team total over as well, even though that's now probably 38 or whatever. That's pretty decent, right, Jeff?
Yeah, one thing I've noticed about Houston, it seems like any time a shootout is presented to them, they rightfully take it. And against these types of defenses, you look at it, they put up 41 against Rice, 28 against Texas Tech, 41 against West Virginia, put up 24 against Texas. They can move the football. I just feel like this is kind of a shootout. I'm sure UCF will pull away and win by double digits. Look, I'll be fair, Peter. 14.5 is a lot of points to lay if you're UCF. I mean, look, this is a good offense, but not a real good defense. this could be one of those spots for Houston where it's, hey, we have to build for next year. Who wants to actually be here? You may get a decent performance from them at that level. So, I mean, I'm seeing 15.5 at one point, at one book on at Bet Rivers. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't get it. I would have thought that sitting here, the line, I saw 13.5 and 60.5. I was thinking it might be 12 and like 62, but it's only 61. Big move for Florida. I agree with you. I like the over. All right, next game. The first game I'm going to talk about, noon game, Middle Tennessee and Sam Houston. Very interesting. Of course, Sam Houston earlier in the year was a big underdog covering, even though they couldn't put up anything. Recently, their offense has changed. They've been putting up points. Small dog against Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee beat up UTEP in their last game. They lost to ATS. Sam Houston, of course, lost at Western Kentucky last week, but they were a big dog. They won ATS in that one. I had them in that one. And in this one, neither team could get to a bowl game. It's the last game for both. And I took shots with, I don't know why exactly. There's a lot of bets that I made on today's card and a lot of bets I'm liking. I like them all equally. So this isn't like one of my favorite plays of the game, of the card, but I took Sam Houston plus 3.5, and I took the over at 49. Would love to get your take on this one, Jeff Nadeau. Sam Houston in the over, maybe?
I've said this over the years. This is why I like you, Peter. You find these spots. Yes. I couldn't agree more. And I relate Sam Houston a lot to Virginia, another team I'm going to talk about, a group that has not quit, a group that really is just kind of just hung around. They forced turnovers. And I'll tell you what, they made this move to this Keegan Shoemaker kid. I've watched him, makes that offense significantly better. I remember when they put him in, it was towards the end of September. They rallied. The offense looked significantly better. I agree with you here. I think this is a good spot. I think my one concern with last week's game, Austin Reed threw 4 interceptions for Western Kentucky. You have to feel like if he kind of just stabilized a little bit, they would have kind of won by margin. But this is a Middle Tennessee State team playing for nothing. This is your quasi just end of the road game where you're just not that interested. This is in Sam Houston too, right?
Yeah,
a huge spot for them. I think a good spot maybe to get 3 wins here. I agree. I think this is a good spot for Sam Houston. In fact, I'm looking at it betting myself at 3.5.
Yeah, and the over, the line, the spread hasn't moved. Still 3.5. The total's now 50.5, which is encouraging. So I like the over still, and Sam Houston plus 3.5. Next game Jeff's going to pick is Navy SMU. This is an interesting one. This one, I got some lukewarm opinions. Mostly I want to hear what you have to say. Of course, SMU, a huge favorite. Of course, the total is relatively low, as we see with Navy games. SMU about 20 and 45.5. Navy, 2 straight, nice, straight up in ATS wins. Bad ATS before that. And SMU beat Memphis, didn't cover. Finally, Memphis was an underdog, and they got the cover, but they lost. So we talked about that, and that was, I don't remember who picked what. Everything blurs together, but pretty sure you had like the over, the Memphis team total over, something like that. I don't even remember. But the point is, a lot of people I talked to liked Memphis to finally get a cover in that one, and the Memphis team total over as well. Now we got, SMU as, again, a big favorite against Navy. I want to hear what you have to say, but my leans would be Navy in the over.
Yeah, I grabbed Navy 19.5 here. This is, again, these spots where I think you can make money in these weeks in college football. SMU is looking ahead to next week. AAC title game. This game means nothing to them. They'll likely win. But again, you look at this series. I'm just going back to 2010, Peter. Okay. Navy has never lost by more than 13 to SMU. They just don't get blown out. It's hard to blow them out with the way they run their offense. I think they're actually a decent little defense. I think if you're SMU, you're not really trying to extend yourself much. Maybe certain players don't play. Look at Iowa yesterday. Prime example. Iowa played their backup quarterback. They had certain backups in. I think this is a sleepy spot. Do I think SMU wins? Yeah, probably. But 19.5, just too many points. I'm going to definitely lean on that. This is probably within double digits. I'm going to lean Navy plus 19.5. I played that.
Very nice. I was having a great show until you brought up the fucking Iowa game, Jeff.
I had Nebraska
huge in that month.
Pathetic. Yeah, it's pathetic.
All right, we're moving on. I bet sized appropriately in that one, which, was pretty big. So, all right, let's see what we got here. People comments are coming in. Londo says Washington State plus 16.5. We'll talk about that. I agree. I did bet that one. Londo says Colorado plus 20.5. I agree. I did bet that one. Arizona money line. That's a little bit weird. I bet the under in that one. We'll talk about it. And Londo says under 51.5 UCLA. I disagree. I bet the over in UCLA, and I also bet Cal. Go ahead.
Cal can't stop anybody.
Yeah, I took UCLA and the over in that one. Londo posting under, but I agree with all the other things that he posted here. 320 CLK Ohio State Michigan game. Yeah, well.
We lost Peter.
Pete, we lost you for a second.
We lost Peter. Do we have him back? No.
Pete, come in and out for us real quick.
Yeah, leave and come back in, Peter. We'll handle the show until he comes back. I'm going to just say it while we're waiting. Ohio State, Michigan. This is the game, right? Big game of the day. It's the game, as they call it. I mean, listen, if you're going to give me 3.5 points with a team that has Marvin Harrison against a team that doesn't, I'm interested. I just have to play that. Again, I think it's something that – do we have him back?
Nope. Pete,
no?
Refresh.
Oh, there he is.
Good. All right. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'm back, right? I was seeing myself the whole – all right, I don't know what the hell happened. I'm sitting close to the fire. All right, whatever. All right, Jeff, sorry about that. Okay, I don't know where we cut off, but yeah, so someone requested the Colorado game, and that is one of the games that I picked. Utah, Colorado blown out at Washington State. They had covered 3 in a row before that. And Utah blown out at Arizona. They had covered a bunch of games before that. Utah, a huge favorite here. And Colorado, of course, has a bunch of injuries going up into this game. So does Colorado. Utah has injuries, but Colorado's quarterback injured as well. Huge line, though. End of the year here, I took a shot with Colorado at 20.5. Total is weird. It's gotten bet down, which makes sense because of the injuries. I might be leaning over, though. I like Colorado, though, for sure.
Yeah, I disagree completely. I don't want you to do this. I'm hoping you won't do this. I'm hoping that you reconsider. And here's why.
I will.
First of all, you could have got 21.5 several days ago. You're betting this at a bad number. Number two, I've seemingly been completely correct on Colorado. This team's quit. I mean, if you watch the press conference, you watch Shadur Sanders is faking injuries. He's not even hurt. He's fine. They just don't want to play. Deion's given up. Look at the body language with them. They got blown out against a Wazoo team that lost to Stanford. This is not a good football team. This team is, again, quit. I think this is a group that is just ready for the season to end. This is a Utah team that's generally off a loss, been very responsive this season. Throw in the fact that it looks like Colorado is going to start Luke Battaria today, who is their backup. That concerns me, especially with the offensive line issues they've had all year. This is one of the better defensive lines in the country. I think they get after Colorado early and often. We all know that defense for Colorado is waiting to quit as well. And generally, when a game starts and a team's quit, the defense is what you see first. This screamed like 44-13 to me. I think Colorado is done.
Wow. Jeff Nadu, that's why we do these shows. I'm not kidding when I say help us break it down. Help me decide. I need a lot of help here. Yeah, I mean, I of course, I follow this stuff very carefully, but college basketball is going on right now. I wasn't aware that Colorado had quit. It's a faked injury, you think, for Sanders?
Listen, obviously, we don't really know, but it seems like they're just kind of, ready for the season to end. Look, let me ask you, Peter, do you think if Colorado was ball eligible to win, do you think he'd play today? Of course, he would be in there. This is just a bad spot to me. And I think what a lot of people are doing is they're saying Colorado's not that bad. Remember TCU? That's a long way away. This team has shown they are an embarrassment. That's what they are at this point, an embarrassment. They've completely fallen by the wayside. Time and time again, they've looked bad. And this is the last team you want to play when you've quit. Kyle Whittingham is a good coach. They're at home here. And I think for them, the goal is to get to 8 wins. That'd be a big thing for this Utah team. I think Colorado's done. And Deion's going somewhere else. He's going to go to another school.
Right. Awesome. Jeff Nadu. That's why I love doing shows with you, Jeff Nadu. I totally trust you with your breakdown on that one. And I'm going to be off. And also people in the comment section talking about this. Joey B says, Utah going to roll prime time. Yeah, absolutely. If Colorado hadn't quit, then I still think 21 is a great line. If they've quit, you're absolutely right, Jeff Nadu. Those are the things where we can find value. Awesome breakdown, Jeff Nadu. I'm looking at this, looking at comments here. Perky Sanderson III says Utah for sure.
Oh, now we're never mind. Damn it. He's on Utah. Oh no.
Now I'm begging you to please not take Utah, Jeff. Please. You begged me not to take Colorado. I'm begging you, Jeff. Please.
Hey, Christopher,
no, I'm kidding around.
I mean, you're right. A lot of schools are embarrassments. I'm just saying that we heard about how great this school was at the beginning of the season. They were Heisman. Shedeur was a Heisman candidate. They were going to win the national title. And, now we don't hear anything anymore. I mean, they're an embarrassment.
Joey B says, Peter makes me nervous watching him make picks while biting his nails. So much drama. You're right, Joey B. I got to chill the fuck out. I'm excited. I like this. I'm excited and nervous. High energy. I drank some coffee. I'm going to chill the fuck out, Joey B. You're absolutely right. I'm going to be confident and chilled out. Shout out to Perky Sanderson, like in Michigan -3, and Perky Sanderson saying he likes Utah for sure. So that makes me like Utah even a little bit more than I did after Jeff's breakdown. Thanks so much, Jeff Nadu. Great breakdown. I'm definitely going to be off Colorado. All right. Next game you want to talk about, Jeff. Wake Forest, Syracuse. This is an interesting one. You chose it as one of the 5 games you want to talk about. Syracuse, of course, lost at Georgia Tech. I did have Georgia Tech in that one. I think I mentioned it in this video last week. I had Georgia Tech. It wasn't an easy cover, but they covered by a few points. And Syracuse, of course, Dino Babers is gone, right? He's fired. Syracuse also doesn't have a quarterback, so they're running like that funky wildcat with the tight end taking snaps and stuff, which can be productive and can be hard to prepare for. I mean, Syracuse beat Pittsburgh with that scheme, and they lost at Georgia Tech. Now Dino Babers is gone. What does that mean for this team? I'm not exactly sure. And Wake Forest got blasted by Notre Dame. They're just not a good team, right? They've lost 7 out of their last 8 straight up. 3 and 5 ATS in those, so they're not a bad team that's covering. They're a bad team that's also mostly losing ATS. They have an offense that can stall out. They also have kind of a funky offense. So this is a weird game. I guess I would be I don't know. When a coach gets fired, sometimes you want to bet on them. I didn't do that with the Boise game, and that was wrong. Here again, I'm leaning Wake Forest, but I don't know. Maybe Syracuse is a play. You chose as one of your top 5, Jeff. Why'd you choose it?
Yeah, I think from what I'm seeing, and when you look at this line, it looks like Schrader's probably going to play in this game. I think if you notice this number, it's been kind of inching up. It says he's a game-time decision. I'll lean on the fact that with ball eligibility, he plays. You look at everything that's happened to Syracuse, and they're at 5 wins. This is a very winnable game on Senior Day at home. From what I understand, Dan Mullen's there. It looks like they're going to look to maybe hire him. He's in town for the game. I think this is a big spot for Q's. I haven't always been a big fan of this team, especially this year, but it looks like I think they're a little bit more responsive now that Dino's gone. The defense, I think, is pretty solid. We know Wake is poor. They have a poor offensive line. Just can't seem to get much going offensively. Look, I'm not running to lay big points in this game, but all they have to do is win, essentially, Syracuse. I'm going to look to back them here in a must-win game. I'm going to feel like they have responded now that Dino's gone. There's a lot to play for still, and they should get Schrader back. I'm going to lean on Syracuse here.
Okay, Jeff Nadu liking Syracuse. Normally, I like it or love it when games have uncertainty and you're not really sure what to make of it because you can get good betting value with those kinds of situations. This one might be a little bit too much uncertainty of what to get Syracuse, but I certainly can understand a play on them. Jeff Nadu liking Syracuse over Wake. All right, here we go. Jeff Nadu, tell me. I'm sorry?
One thing I didn't want to throw out, I think sometimes, and I do it, we all do it, because I think it's a very motivating thing, but just because a team has 5 wins and they need to win to get the ball eligibility doesn't always mean they're going to. Remember, you bet on teams that are average, and look at prime example yesterday. This spot for Syracuse is just like the Nebraska spot yesterday. Very winnable game, should get the job done, yet remember, you're betting on 5-win teams.
Yeah, I agree with you. It depends, of course, on the specific teams and the motivational factors for each team. Every situation is idiosyncratic, but in general, I would consider being a spoiler more of a motivating factor than needing a 6th win or needing any kind of win.
Yep.
So Yeah. All right. So 320 CLK says Ohio State game over under. I did bet the under in that one. I'll tell you that. I think the line has moved, and I bet the under in that game. I'll put that out there right now. Okay, another game I bet the under, and I did beat this move by a lot. Also, like on the side, we'll talk about a great, interesting situation here. Liberty and UTEP. Jeff Nadu, we'll see what you can tell me about this, if you agree with my opinions or want to warn me off of them. Liberty, of course, blasted UMass last week. Just too big of a favorite. Barely lost ATS. Undefeated. Liberty's a great team. Early in the year, I bet against them a few times and got burned. Learned my lesson. Great ATS on the year, although just 4-3 ATS last 7. UTEP lost at Middle Tennessee, and I had the under in that one, and that one was wrong as well. So maybe these are two teams that I'm a little bit snake bit by it on the wrong side of, but 3 straight nice covers now for UTEP. Of course, Liberty has a huge game coming up next week against New Mexico State, and this is a big travel spot for them. Big line for UTEP, and one more time, I did take a shot with a fade of Liberty. I took UTEP plus 17. That line hasn't moved. Also took the under, and I think I like that one a little bit more. That one has moved. I got 59. It's now down to 55.5. I'm thinking that UTEP plus the points and the under are still decent plays. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, every time you look at these types of games, it is, do you have one eye towards the next week? Because this game, again, though, means something to Liberty because I think the goal is to get an undefeated season. However, winning the game and then winning by 20, which is essentially what you need here, is a lot different situation. UTEP is a team who do struggle to move the football, and that's my major concern. Can UTEP, look, I think the problem we have in this conference is it's such a bad conference. Liberty is so far ahead, I think, really of everyone else that I have a hard time thinking that UTEP can hang in this game. You look at the one kind of comparable matchup in this conference for UTEP, lost 28-7 to New Mexico State, the other team going to the final in this game. So that's the concern. I actually like the under a little bit here, Peter. I don't think UTEP can do much in the way of offense. I feel like if you like Liberty, you probably lean under. This is probably like a 41-10 type of game. If you like UTEP, you probably lean over. They're going to need to score some points because Liberty want that undefeated season. This is a group that put 40 points a game on the board. I kind of lean under here. I think 55.5 is a little high. Something tells me UTEP loses by 20 or more, though. I just don't think they're very good. I think they're going to struggle to move the football. And when a team has that ability to go undefeated, kind of represent the G5, they're 11-0. They've been great as a favorite as well. I kind of lean Liberty and the under a little bit here.
Okay. M. Sizzle likes Liberty first half. Robert Franklin liking the over 55. Okay. The world is yours likes the Georgia game over 59. I actually took the under. I took under 60. We will talk about that. That's one of the big games that I wanted to talk about. And okay, yeah, I don't know what I think about this Liberty UTEP game. I mean, I like the under. I beat the line, moved by a mile. So Jeff Nadu's next game. This is interesting. I want to hear what he has to say. UAB and North Texas. I talked about this game earlier in the week. I said I haven't bet it yet. I said I was leaning North Texas, wanted to get more information, wanted to see what the line, what the market would do. Obviously, a high total with these two teams. It opened at 73. I said I would probably have a small lean to the over even at that line. I'll check right now to see where the market has moved. But, UAB, would I probably still bet it there? Tiny. I don't know. UAB, of course, their quarterback was injured. Then they got him back. They had 2 nice wins, except a loss at Navy. So UAB is pretty competent offensively right now. North Texas won and covered against Tulsa after 4 straight up losses. But they have been great ATS this year recently, 5-1-1 ATS last 7. Neither of these teams, I believe, can make a bowl. So, I was leaning over and slight lean to North Texas. What do you like here, Jeff?
Yeah, these are 2 bottom 5 defenses in America. 2 groups that just have major issues stopping each other. And what's one constant, Peter, we've seen in college football this year? Generally, when these types of teams in the American play each other, the games are first to 40 wins. These are 2 top 20 passing offenses in America. I'll tell you right now, I'm not running to bet North Texas as a favorite. Look, it's a 7-8 point dog maybe, but not as a favorite. UAB just finds ways to lose games. This has all the makings of a wild 45-42 shootout. You have 2 teams that want to step on the front foot and throw the ball. You're not playing for much. I'm sure there's going to be some taking shots at the 30-yard line, things like that. I'm going to just hope that this is a back-and-forth shootout. generally in this conference, that's what's happening. And this is one of the higher totals for a reason. I bet this, Peter, on Monday at 72. That was the low point I saw in this total. It's up to 74.5. Again, I think this is like 45, 41, something like that.
Yeah. I think you're right. Don't overthink it. I'm seeing 74 at some places still. I agree with you, Jeff Nadu. And in fact, I'm going to make a little bet on that right now as well. I did already hit it once, but I'm going to.
Sunny at 60 degrees today in North Texas.
As
far as where this is.
No, I think you're absolutely right, Jeff. This reminds me of what was that game? The Indiana NBA game where the total was 250, and you were like, really? It wound up going to like 300 or something. I agree with you. I like the over here, and the line is now down to 2. So probably North Texas was the wrong side. It's probably a coin flip. You're right. All right, the next game I'm going to talk about. I bet this one. We'll see what you have to say. Clemson, South Carolina. Everyone in the comment section chime in. Of course, a big rivalry game here, right? Clemson was bad ATS all year long, but they did turn it around recently. They beat UNC, 3 straight nice ATS wins for Clemson. South Carolina, of course, beat Kentucky last week in a low-scoring game. The line was very close to dead on. And, rivalry game, maybe it's too obvious. I took South Carolina at 7.5. A little bit surprised to see that the line was that high, given South Carolina that many points. I was like, well, maybe there's some kind of injury or situation that I'm not aware of, but I really haven't been able to find that. South Carolina plus 7.5. Why not? You tell me, Jeff.
Yeah, the Palmetto Bowl is what they call this. The Palmetto State is South Carolina. Rivalry here, I guess. I didn't understand this number either. I think you make a great point here with South Carolina. They are bowl eligible with a win. This would be great and really sweet to get it against Clemson, a team who, look, I'm not running delay numbers with, especially over a touchdown. We've seen them find ways to lose games this season. I think these offenses are probably pretty even. Obviously, Clemson a little bit better defensively, but throw in that you're at home, you're getting over a touchdown. Yeah, I think this is a game where, again, Clemson not playing for anything. I think this is a much more motivating spot for South Carolina. I've had this number more at like 5. I think 7.5 is a lot.
I agree with you. Doesn't quite make sense. I gotta hit Brown -4 in 3 minutes and Tennessee State +2 in 3 minutes. But I'll do that while we're doing this show. I can multitask. Maybe not in life. When it comes to handicapping, give me 8 tasks. I can do it all. 8 handicapping tasks. I can do them all at once. Next game, we're going to talk about the big one. Well, not the one that everyone was wondering about earlier in the show, Virginia Tech and Virginia. This is one of Jeff's games. Virginia Tech, of course, lost to NC State, but they had been great before that. 5-1 ATS before the NC State loss. Virginia, of course, big emotional win over Duke. I liked that. Jeff Nadu liked it a lot more. After I heard how much Jeff liked it, then I liked it a lot more, and I bet it big. And, of course, they won outright. Everyone was a winner all around with that Virginia game. Great call by all of us. Now we got a rivalry game here, and I was thinking, I don't know, man. Virginia has been great ATS, covered 7 out of their last 8. But that might have been a big emotional game for Virginia, and I was leaning Virginia Tech here. What do you like here, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to lean one more time on Virginia. I'm going to kind of miss this team, man. This is the last game for them, but they just hang, man. Every game they hang. I think for me, though, the one kind of caveat here is, for instance, there's 2.5s out there. I'm going to probably buy the 3. I just want to have that insurance. This game could fall 24-21. They've made a quarterback change a while ago. Kalanja has been much better for them. It seems like they've really played for their coach, which is really important. And now they get their rival. This is a big matchup in this state. Virginia is super motivated, and so is Virginia Tech. This should be a great game. I have no reason to believe it's decided by more than 3 points. Virginia 8-3, Peter, against the spread, 3-8 straight up. That shows you how much they care. That's how close they are, I think, to breaking through. Watch next year. This team's going to be really interesting. They've responded to their coach. I want to grab a 3 here, though. That's what I'm going to try to find. I'm going to have to buy it, but I'll buy the 3. I'm going to back Virginia one more time here.
Yeah, I was also thinking about the over, and I was a little bit surprised to see that the total was so modest. Not really low, but definitely modest. What do you think about maybe the over?
Yeah, I mean, I 52.5, I don't love those numbers just because it's not, you're above that key number of like 51, 27, 27-24 is a loser there. I don't know. I think it's probably priced pretty correctly.
Okay.
I see I see it more like 24-21 as opposed to 30-24 or something. But I think every possession is going to matter. I think this game's close. I don't know. I leaned under at 52.5. Look, if it's 50.5, maybe I lean over. I could see it being that 27-24. But I'm going to just buy the 3 on Virginia. I'll pay a little extra, and I feel pretty good with that.
Okay, yeah, the total really hasn't moved at all. Still 53. I'm seeing right now Virginia 1.5 at Heritage right now. So some recent movement towards Virginia. Okay, great breakdown, Jeff Nadu. Next game that I wanted to talk about, the last of the 10 that we talk about, is going to be the Georgia Tech game. Of course, Georgia pounded Tennessee. They have Alabama next week. Georgia is an elite team, but not quite the absolute steamrolling juggernaut of elite teams of past years. They are a little bit vulnerable. ATS as a huge favorite, which they are here. Georgia Tech beats Syracuse. I was thinking when the lines came out, I kind of no-brainer bet the under, and I did take a shot with Georgia Tech as well at 24. So I am on Georgia Tech plus 24, a little bit bigger on the under at 60. Georgia could easily put up 50 if they wanted to. Will they want to? I don't think they will. I took Georgia Tech in the under. What do you think, Jeff?
I believe this is the most bet game in the market as far as I know. Georgia's just getting slammed by everyone. I kind of disagree with that. They're not a steamroller. Lately, they have been, and I think that's my concern. I guess this is probably the most vulnerable spot, though, just with Alabama on deck, and this not being much of an important one to them. But 24.5 is a key number. I don't know. I don't want to step in front of Georgia personally. I feel like they can roll the ball. And we've seen a few times this year, Peter, it's, they're playing Kentucky. They're laying 15. They're not, and then they steamroll one by 40. So,
right. Well,
go ahead.
I'd make a distinction between like 14 and lower spreads and 20 and higher spreads. Like, they steamroll teams that are better, but against look at this as a 20+ point favorite. What are they? 1-2, 1-3, 1-4, 1-4 on the year. ATS as a favorite of 20 or more.
Yeah, look, I would probably say, and I'd always kind of throw this in. I think if in these kind of games you like the dog, why not just play the over? I mean, Georgia's going to probably get in close to 40. That's just what they do. This could be, 41-24. I could see something like that, and you're safe either way. But I didn't have much here. I'll lend to you on this one. Georgia Tech, all you really have is motivation here. Obviously they want to beat them, but they're not going to beat them. They're 6-5. If this game is, 38-10 late, do you think they care that much to go down and score? I mean, they're not going to win the game, and they're already ball eligible too. So if you're Georgia, you may sit people. I don't know. It's a rough one for me.
All right. Well, we'll see how it turns out. I am on Georgia Tech, relatively small, and the under 60, though, a little bit bigger. I kind of really like the under. So, hopefully that will cash. All right. We got 27 minutes now to go over the rest of the card. Let's just start with Arkansas State because I'm looking at the comments section. Robert Franklin says Arkansas State +2. That is a weird game. Of course, the 77-point game from last week is looming here. I do think Arkansas State +2 is a decent play. What do you think, if anything, about that one, Jeff?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to Marshall, man. They completely. You hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm echoing it a little bit in the background. I think I'm all right now. I don't know what happened to Marshall. This offense has fallen by the wayside for the most part. I don't trust them to be able to score in any game. I mean, outside of the Georgia Southern game, this offense has fell apart. But bowl eligible with a win here. In a game at home where they need to win, I'd lean them here. But I think this is a case of you're betting on a team that you expect to do things that probably just won't do things because they are who they are. Nebraska was a prime example. I had that as well, Peter. And when I watched the game, I said to myself, why the fuck did I bet on this team? They're just assholes. They don't know how to move the football. They just make stupid mistakes and stupid decisions. Quarterback play stinks. And that's Marshall. Marshall is the same team as Nebraska. Can't score, kind of decent on defense, but you don't really trust them. This is a coin flip to me. I have no interest in this game at all. I think they're way better games than the card. What's Arkansas State playing for?
I'm sorry?
What's Arkansas State playing for? Bowl eligible. Now you got to go down to Marshall, middle of the game. You're just looking to get to a bowl. This game, I wouldn't trust either side here.
Okay, yeah, I would lean Arkansas State and the under though for sure. All right, let's quickly talk about it. 12 noon, Ohio State, Michigan. Once again, I did bet the under when it came out. Like any sort of doing my 2 second capping free play, I'd throw it on Ohio State getting 3. Why not? Didn't bet it, but I did bet the under. I think I had 47. What do you take? Ohio State, Michigan. Anything, Jeff?
Yeah, I would lean taking the points here. If I can get 3.5, I would lean on taking the points. Listen, this game comes down to one thing to me: Marvin Harrison. One team has him, one team doesn't.
Yeah.
I'll also say it looks like, and at least to me, from what I've read, I've heard JJ McCarthy has a very close relationship, obviously, with his coach, to the point of he seems like he's a different quarterback and not to the good as a good quarterback since he's been out. He looks different. He looks more tentative, doesn't want to throw the ball downfield. If you're just going to try to run the ball and be one-dimensional, I think you're going to have trouble against Ohio State. What I'm starting to see, Peter, is Michigan's starting to look to me a little bit like Penn State, where they don't want to throw the ball down the field. They just want to kind of intermediate things. That's going to be tough today to me against Ohio State. One team has Marvin Harrison and one team doesn't. Throw in the fact that I'm getting 3.5 points. Yeah, I think unlike most games, this game generally goes over, but I don't think it goes over today. I think it's a more lower scoring, kind of deliberate type of game. I'm going to lean under, and I'm going to lean Ohio State. Agreed.
Okay, yeah, I took it. And there you go. Nasty Nate says Ohio State wins, but Perky Sanders in the third says Michigan -3, free money. So Perky Sanders and a Nasty Nate going absolutely head to head. Robert Frank says Marshall's thrown in the towel. Yeah, I like Arkansas State in that one. I think I'm actually going to be on it. Let's talk about this. Is an interesting game from a market perspective, Jeff Nadu, and I think we can all bet it if we want. Similar to do you remember the what was it, the Purdue game the Northwestern game, right? Where Northwestern was a dog. I was like, why is this team a dog? And then game day they flipped to a favorite, and I'm like, oh, of course, I was right. So I felt good about the bet I had already made, and I doubled up a little bit. Exact same situation here with UMass and UConn. I didn't understand why UMass was a dog. I was like, maybe I'm not seeing something. I bet him anyway. Now I'm here looking at the market. Now UMass is a 1 or 1.5 point favorite. Now I like him even more. I doubled up on it. UMass has got to be the play, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they've definitely been much better on offense this year, which is a nice kind of change of pace for them because they have been the doormat in college football for several years now, but it seems like UConn's back to being the doormat. I definitely feel like I have a lot more kind of confidence, quite frankly, in UMass. I don't want to go much higher than like 1.5 with them. I just want them to kind of have to win the game. But in the shit bowl of the day, I feel like they are much more of a team I'm more confident in backing. I want to throw out one, Peter, to you.
Go ahead.
And I mentioned last week Rice. I liked them last week again. They were able to cover the number, but they didn't have JT Daniels. Today, 3.5 point favorite, kind of a similar spot. They're bowl eligible with a win here. Do I just take the bait and bet it again and hope Daniels plays? This is a big game for them. FAU has not been good defensively. FAU is playing for absolutely nothing here. I feel like, Peter, if I'm FAU, I have to leave Boca Raton. My season's over, and I got to go to Rice and play a game at 1 o'clock on a Saturday that means nothing. I think Rice is super motivated here, and we may just get JT back. I kind of like this spot again. Rice has been good to us this year on this show as a dog, as a favorite. I like Rice.
Okay, I hope you cash because I looked at that game. I was like, I think I like over, and then I looked into it more and got a painted little line move, and I'm like, I'm off it. So I hope Rice cashes if you're on it, Jeff Nadu. Quickly, we can talk about Kentucky, Louisville. You have followed Kentucky fairly closely this year. I've had a very good read on Louisville this year in general in their games. I don't know about the spread, but I am on the under. I took under 50.
I think you are dead right. I like the under as well. I think I've even got it a little bit higher. This game kind of seems like kind of a sleepy game. I know Kentucky will probably be up for it, but will they be? I mean, get past the rivalry stuff. I mean, Louisville's just kind of looking forward, I think, to next week with that game against Florida State. That game obviously super important. It's to win the ACC. Kentucky, I think, will be a bit more motivated. I felt like anything above 7 kind of remind me a little bit of South Carolina Clemson to me. But Kentucky, I don't trust to move the ball. Devin Leary all year has struggled to throw the ball. I like the under as well. I think that got hit pretty sharp early as well.
Yeah, still 49.5 though. I would have no problem taking that. We're going to get to every game on the card, but I'm just scanning to see what there's so many interesting things that I guess we can talk about. Arizona State. That's another one. I'm just seeing it here. I did bet the under small on that one. Maybe I'll bet it more closer to kickoff. Arizona State is a huge dog here. Not huge, like 13 is what I'm seeing right now. I'm not sure what to make of that game. Obviously, Arizona wants to get the comfortable win. I took a shot with the under though.
Yeah, it seems like people have been waiting for Arizona to slip up, and they haven't. However, this is a significantly bigger price than they've normally been laying. Yeah, they've kind of been like small dogs in a lot of games or pick'ems or slight favorites. They're laying 13 here. You got to win clear by 2 touchdowns. Arizona State is bad. I don't really want to step in front of Arizona, but it is a different spread profile. Understand that it's not a pick 'em, but they're 9-2 against the number. A lot of those games have been as a dog. Last year, 38-35. It was towards the end of the season as well. Maybe Arizona's a little sleepy. Again, I think if you're going to get up for a game in Arizona State, it's this one against your rival. But I need 14 or more to get involved. So to me, it's a pass.
Okay, here's another game I want to ask about, Jeff Nadeau. I'm just seeing this one. I want to get your opinion. Now, we talked about the Northwestern game. I didn't understand why they were a dog line, moved to my favor. I was like, I was right. We just talked about the UMass game. I was right. Wisconsin, Minnesota. Same thing I was feeling, but that line has not moved yet. Minnesota opened as a small dog, like +2. I hit it. Now it's actually up to 3. Not only has it not flipped to Minnesota being a favorite, but it's now Wisconsin -3. And I don't really quite understand it. Wisconsin, of course, beat Nebraska last game, and I did have Wisconsin, but they needed OT. We don't need to talk about how awful Nebraska is. We've already talked about it. So Wisconsin went to Nebraska in OT. They got the win. They got the cover, thankfully, or a push if you had to take the 7. Minnesota blasted by Ohio State. Fine, forgivable. 2 straight bad ATS losses on the road. I thought Minnesota would be a good or great play here, but now they're +3. What gives? What gives, Jeff?
Well, I think what gives is, and I think I mentioned this to you last week, something tells me that they've kind of quit. I don't know why. They just really haven't responded recently. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the excuse was to give a 49 to a bad Purdue team. This kind of seemed like a Fleck Baber situation, like where they're 5 wins and they're on the crest of a bowl line, but I feel like they want more at Minnesota. Something tells me they're not responding to Fleck. Wisconsin has their quarterback back. I lean under here. I think this is a game that's probably first to 20 wins. I would have to think. I have to look at the weather, but it's probably not great. It's cold. It's raw. Maybe a little windy. Something tells me this was like first to 20 wins. Personally.
All right. Well, we'll see where the line is by kickoff, but I'm not going to hedge out of it. I'm on Minnesota. Line's moved against me. We'll see, and I'm just gonna roll with it. So many great games. Let's talk about this one, Jeff Dade. Let's talk about it, right? Jacksonville State, New Mexico State. Of course, New Mexico State off the Auburn win. Jacksonville State, though, has been every bit as good ATS as New Mexico State this year. When the lines opened, it was Jacksonville State as a small dog at 49.5, I think it was. I immediately hit Jacksonville State and the over. Of course, now it's Jacksonville State's a small favorite. Total, a little bit surprising to me, has gone down. I'm seeing like 49 now, so that's a little head scratching. But I think I still like the over. Definitely still like Jacksonville State and the Jacksonville State team total over. Jeff Nadeau, what do you think? Is Jacksonville State? Is New Mexico State maybe actually? I mean, that's pretty disrespectful after the Auburn win and how great New Mexico State's been ATS this year. Now they're a home dog.
I just think there's no game that means more to New Mexico State than next week. I mean, where that program was, where they are now, I mean, you got to give Jerry Kill a lot of credit. That's pretty impressive. But I'd have to wonder what kind of skeleton crew they're going to throw out there today. And what do we know about Jacksonville State? I mean, they have made a really nice response coming up from FCS. Their defense is good. Their quarterback play is kind of fun and new. They've got these dual threat quarterbacks. I've been pretty impressed with Jacksonville State. I mean, 8-3. This is not some just like 5-win team on the cusp of bowl eligibility. I think they're a better team today. It's clear to me that Jacksonville State's the side, especially with where this number opened and where it is now. I think what this is telling us is no one's going to play for New Mexico State of value. They're going to struggle to move the ball. Here's what I would do. Little parlay in the Conference USA. Jacksonville State money line, Sam Houston +3.5. Feel like pretty good about that.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. All right, Jeff Nadeau, let's just talk about it real quick. Let's try to limit this to like 30 seconds if we can. Alabama, Auburn, 14 and a half when it opened. I took Auburn, and I took the under. I think I got 49. I don't remember. When the lines came out, yes. I took Auburn plus 14 and a half. I took the under. If they both lose, that's fine. Alabama, Auburn, Jeff, what's your take?
Yeah, I'm out on Auburn. I just they're just not very good, right? They can't move the ball. Alabama's a freight train. I feel like Auburn's kind of quit. I think that was clear last week. I mean, you can't lose New Mexico State. You just can't. I don't care how receptive they've been. You can't lose to that type of team to me. Yeah, I'm out on Auburn. This kind of seems like a Oregon State-Oregon game last night where Oregon just finds a way to win by like 20 and that's it. Yeah, I don't want to fade Alabama. I'm good.
Okay. Swiss Horton saying, Pete, have you been on an exercise bike in a gym? Yes. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Could you give me a break, Swissy? Thanks. Thank you. All right. Oh, shit. Nut Flush Allen. Pete, you want the fruit I found on the ground? Yes. Nut Flush Allen for the love of
Why
God,
did he
please.
say that,
Yes.
though? Have you been in an exercise bike? Why do you say that?
It's just obvious. It's just so freaking obvious. But it's okay. Wait, what? UMass game canceled? Is that true? What the fuck?
Wait, what? Why?
I don't know.
The shit.
I don't know what he's talking about. King Out says UMass cancel. I don't know what he means by that. M. Sizza says Bama smashes. Billy Friedrich says UNC rolls. Whoa. Robert Franklin also says whoa. So we have two Bama smash comments in the comment section. Okay, if it loses, that's okay. I guess Silvar Malco has been asking about Tennessee team total over against Vandy. I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that. I don't know, man. Tennessee, Vandy. You got anything, Jeff? As of right now, I have no bet on that one.
I will say, one of the more wild things you can do is at 11:16 in the morning, pick UMass UConn and say, "Hey, I'm going to go in a chat and say it's canceled." What a weird move that is. Like, why not say like Michigan's canceled or something? Like, why pick that game? So weird. Yeah, listen, Tennessee's offense is solid. I don't love Joe Milton as much as Hendon Hooker, but yeah, I mean they should move the ball against Vandy, who are a complete disaster. I will say in that kind of realm, in that area of the world, Pittsburgh, Duke. Should Duke really be laying numbers? Like, what are they doing?
I bet Pittsburgh for sure.
Yeah, same. I like Pitt here. I don't think Duke is just very good. I think that's why we bet against them last week. The fact they have to win by nearly a touchdown, I was a bit surprised by that.
Yes. In the meantime, here I'm like, Jeff, Nut Flush Allen, Pete, you want the fruit I found on the ground? Yes, Nut Flush, please. That's we're waiting. All right, yeah, no. Okay, so we don't have to talk about that because I definitely bet. I did bet. UCF team total over. Write it down. Yeah, that's already been written down.
He usually bets that every week. I think he bet it last week too.
Yeah, very, very smart. Robert Franklin asked about Old Dominion -2.5. That game, I don't have any on. Anything, Jeff?
Yeah, EQ, we just talked about Duke Pitt. We both lean Pitt. As far as that, it's funny you bring it up. I was just going to ask you about Old Dominion. Yeah,
actually, for me, it's not a lean. I bet that. I already bet it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like Old Dominion here too. This is a big spot for them. It's been kind of a solid season for them. They've been good as an underdog. They've seemed to respond behind their coach. Offenses look pretty dynamic. A good defense. Yeah, I would just kind of have them I would just want them to win here. I don't really want to lay many points or anything. But yeah, Old Dominion looks to be like a group that should respond today. Anything under a field goal looks pretty good here against Georgia State, who is already bowl eligible.
Okay, so Cam Raphael says any leans on Wazoo, Washington. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I did bet Washington State, but Nutflesh Allen says also get the Florida State team total over as well. Let's talk about that first because that has me a little bit concerned. I do like the over in that game, and I bet it. I did, though, take a shot with Florida +7. That might have been a mistake. Of course, both these teams have injury issues at quarterback. The guys coming in should be okay. I bet the over. I did bet Florida. Nutflesh Allen here says Florida State team total over as well. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, I've been back and forth on this one because, Tate Rodemaker is not a guy I'm running to bet on. They're going to lose over the next game or two. We don't know which one it's going to be, but I think they're going to lose. Something told me to take Florida money line here at nearly +200. Huge game for them at home, rivalry. If they win, they're bowl eligible, and they have to be looking at this game and saying, wow, we have a really good opportunity in front of us here. I think this is a huge game for Billy Napier. I think if you can find a way to win this, you've almost bought yourself another year or two. I think Florida wins. I'm gonna lean on the money line here. I think today you got to take shots, Peter, with spots that just look interesting, right? Like, would it be that crazy if BYU beat Oklahoma State? Like, no, they're 16-point dogs, but you have to find a game or two where maybe you take a shot with a big price and hopefully it comes in, because you're going to see wild things that happen today. One thing that I will say, Peter, LSU, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know all they care about right now? Do you know all they care about? I'm going to tell you.
Heisman Trophy.
Exactly. And they're playing Texas A&M, who really aren't playing for much. I think they're going to do whatever they can to get as many points as they can on the board. So I think you just kind of lean on the fact that LSU's offense is dynamic. Maybe look for some props on Jaden Daniels, because Bo Nix had a good game last night. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. That total, that one, it's just I did hit the over a little bit when it dipped. Now it's up to 67.5. Lil Zo says Arkansas State plus 1.5. Yeah, I do like that one. I did bet that one. Robert Franklin says San Jose State plus 2.5. I'm actually leaning UNLV in that one, minus 2.5. I don't know if you got anything on that one, Jeff.
You said UNLV?
I'm leaning UNLV. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've been a great bet this season. Again, remember, I like them more as like kind of a dog. I'm not running to lay points at UNLV. I'm not quite ready to do that with them in the group. I'll ask you, JMU, what about them? I mean, they're such a weird team because they're not playing. They can't go to a bowl. I think this is one of the worst rules in sports. Would you agree? I mean, why accept them into Division I, but they can't play in anything? That's what bothers me. But
I'm the wrong person to ask about JMU in general. That game up as a pass for me. I got no bet on that one.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. I don't really know how to equate what they are, just because they're not playing for anything, and it's hard to.
Okay, so you want to talk quickly about Washington State? I did bet Washington State. I think I got 16.5. Don't exactly remember, but leaning over as well. What's your take on Washington State, if any?
Wow. So before I get to that opinion, right now in the Heisman market, Jaden Daniels plus 100, Bo Nix plus 110. That's about as close as it gets. I think if Jaden has,
I take Daniels at that. But go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, I leaned over here. Washington, I felt like kind of fell apart offensively last week. What happened to them in the second half? Didn't score. Wazoo is lost on defense. I mean, I think this is one of those kind of 52-30 type of games. Something tells me this game's super high scoring.
Yeah, I agree with you. Here's a game that's kind of interesting. It's a game that might take up a bunch of minutes, which I don't want it to do, but it's Northwestern Illinois. I thought that this line would be a lot lower at the spread, and at that low spread, I would take Illinois. But when it came out at 6, made me a little bit nervous. Wasn't sure what to do. I was also surprised that the total was as high as it was, and I did bet that. Pretty big. I mean, big size for me. I bet the under in Northwestern Illinois. A little bit surprised that Illinois was giving that many points, and I do like the under Northwestern Illinois. What do you think, Jeff?
Well, Illinois played a lot better. I mean, I guess for them, I mean, they've I think got to be pretty excited that with everything that's happened this year, they started the season out super poorly. They're on the cusp of getting to a bowl here. My concern here is, I feel like they just win the game. Like, I don't want to lay points at them. I'm not running to feel like they're going to do anything correctly. They made a change at quarterback. John Paddock looked a lot better for them. Yeah, it's hard because like I play this in like a money line parlay where they just have to win, but I don't trust them to win by margin. I think they'll win.
Exactly.
I don't think it's by margin. I don't trust them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's see. What other games are interesting that we want to get to? I guess there's some interesting stuff. Let's see.
Peter?
Just scan. Yeah.
Just want to throw this out there. Illinois in 5 wins this year has not won any game by more than a touchdown. They haven't.
Yeah.
They don't.
I mean,
every game's close. That's just how it is.
The world is yours has never bet on Wazoo in the Apple Cup. Robert Franklin likes Northwestern plus 6.5. Noli Notes says, love that under, Pete. Let's get it. I think he's talking about the Northwestern game. Yeah, I already got it, and maybe I'll get a little more even. Nutflesh Allen says, just play Washington team total over if you want to play that game. Thank the Lord for Nutflesh Allen, Noli Knows, JPZ, everyone in the comment section. Let me see. And Nutflesh Allen says, the last one I'm going to drop is Arizona team total over. Wow. Arizona team total over. I was thinking the under might be the play there. Now I don't think the under is the play there.
I want to mention
go ahead.
here.
Yeah.
ECU should not be a favorite to anybody.
Yeah.
Like this team's horrible. Like they have no quarterback play. I think this is probably the worst offense in the country, maybe outside of one or two teams. I just don't really think they should be a favorite at any level. Now Tulsa's bad, and I get it, but as a gambler, like laying 3 points with ECU has to seem like incredibly difficult to do. 94% of the actual money is on Tulsa, which signifies big bets are on them. This is a shit bowl as well, but ECU should not be a favorite to any Division I.
No, I agree with you completely. I probably will be on Tulsa. I haven't bet it yet. Maybe I have lost some line value, but that's okay. I was definitely leaning that way, and I will almost certainly be on Tulsa. I also took a shot with Indiana Purdue over. That line is moved. That's up to 55. So I like that one. Let me see some other bets. I don't know. Maryland Rutgers, 15 seconds. You got anything on that?
No, I think it's a game that I skipped over. I would probably just lean Maryland just because they're a little bit more dynamic on offense. But it's not one that I would bet. What about Troy? Any thoughts on them today?
Yeah.
They seem to just kind of beat up these teams. Troy's got a great
I know. My leans would be Southern Miss and the under, but those could both be horrible bets. Lean Southern. I did bet the under a little bit. I haven't bet the side yet.
Every game.
Go ahead.
I think we hit every game, honestly. Every game.
Who, us?
Yeah, I think we did. I also
no. We got there's definitely others that we haven't gotten to. I mean, UNLV. Yeah, wow, that line has gotten bet down though. It looks like San Diego. All right, maybe I was on the wrong side of that one. No, there's definitely. Let me see. What are the others that we didn't get to?
I like South Alabama a little bit today against Texas State. I think a lot of people will just kind of feel like, oh, Texas State's a dog. We know their offense is good. South Alabama's got a really good defense. They have a good offense too. This game doesn't mean a ton to either team. They both have 6 wins, but I think South Alabama, anything under a touchdown might be worth a look here.
Yeah. I do like Nevada and the over in the Wyoming game. I just will shout out that I like those, not necessarily a breakdown why. I do like UCLA and there's a couple other games if you have anything on any of them. Charlotte, South Florida is interesting. Kansas, Cincinnati is interesting. West Virginia, Baylor is interesting. UNC, NC State is interesting. The Kansas State, Iowa State game, anything on any of those or not really?
Well, anytime South Florida plays, I'm going to lean over the total. Charlotte made a change at quarterback. I guess he's a little bit better, this Trexler Ivy character. And South Florida, every game they play is high scoring. They're bowl eligible with a win. They're obviously going to, I think, be on the front foot here. I feel like Charlotte's team is played hard. I mean, they were solid against Memphis in a shootout. Were solid against Tulsa. I think this is a good over spot. I don't think you can line games, Peter, with South Florida in the 50s. I think it's hard to do that. I'd lean over.
All right, so we got 2 minutes to go. Let's go over. I want to have a half hour to finalize bets here, so we can go over our official best plays that will make official for the card. I'll just go down the card and tell you what I'm thinking. One, definitely Kentucky Louisville under. I'll make that an official play there. UMass minus 1 or whatever, unless it's canceled, but that will be a second one. Also leaning UMass team total over, but that's a second one. UMass unless it's canceled. Houston Central Florida over. Can't not make that one. It's still just 61, so that's a third one right there. Houston South Florida. Ohio State Michigan under, even at 45.5 or whatever. I'm really liking that, but I guess I will hold off. Indiana Purdue over liking, but not make that official. LSU, yeah, the team total over just makes a lot of sense right there. Yeah, and that Sam Houston game. Yeah, look at that. All right, I'll throw on Sam Houston plus 3.5 as a fourth play, and I also like the over in that one, but I'll hold off there. Duke plus 4. I'm sorry. Pittsburgh plus 4. That's a fifth play officially. That's a fifth official play that I got there. 5 official plays. Jeff Nadu. UAB North Texas over looks very good. I'm going to hold off for now, but it definitely looks good. I got 5 official plays. Let me just scan down to make sure I get all of them. Jeff Nadu, 5 official plays. Wow, it looks like Liberty is now an 18-point favorite. That's not great to see. Total is 55, so I got 5 official plays so far. Northwestern Illinois under, number 6 right there. Minnesota, yeah, their defense is decimated. All right, I'll hold off. Number 6. Number 7, Jacksonville State. -3, -2.5, whatever you can get. That's number 7. I'll make that one official. Nutflesh Allen loves Florida State team total over. That is probably very tailable. Oh, man, the Georgia Tech game. I got to think the under is a good play there. I'll make that an official play. Number 8, Georgia Tech under. That's another official play. South Carolina, why are they that big of a dog? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But I'll hold off for now. That's 8, 8, 8. And, maybe the Nevada team total over. That's not a bad play. That would be just like, what would that be? Just like anything under 17. I think I like the Nevada team total over. We'll make that another official play. Nevada team total over 9. 9 official plays for me, Jeff Nadu. What are your top plays of the card?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Navy plus 19.5 against SMU. Just think that's a sleepy spot. SMU's got the eye. It's hard to play a triple option team with kind of no interest in the game. I like Virginia plus 3. I'll buy it off 2.5 to 3. I like that group. I just want a little extra insurance. I like UAB North Texas over. I like UCF Houston over. I also like Syracuse. I think they get ball eligible and respond off the firing of Dino Babers. And I'm going to agree with you. Sam Houston, I think that's a very good spot for a resurgent team. End the season on a high note. I like your thinking in that one. And I'm also going to lean Ohio State plus 3.5 against the Michigan Wolverines. I think they probably win.
Awesome show. Noli knows, says Pete, NIU Kent State under 44.5. Noli, thank you so much. Already on it, but just because you gave it to me specifically, I'll put a little bit more on it. I'll put 1/10 of a unit more on Northern Illinois Kent State, but I like that one, and I would recommend people in the comments section tail that one as well. Nutflesh says, I worry Georgia stomps them. I would lean more towards Georgia Tech team total under. Just a thought. Yeah, Nutflesh, I'm going to make that an official play, but I can understand why. I mean, if Georgia was fully motivated to put up 50 on them, they would do it. The question is just the motivation. So, I hear you, Nutflesh Allen. All right, so there you go. Jay Peasy likes Ohio State money line. And, wow, look at that. A lot of comments coming in. Craig Wood says Tulsa getting healthy. What a great friggin' show. Are we doing this again next? We are, right? Are we doing this again next Saturday,
Yeah,
Jeff?
I mean, we'll have some conference title games. Maybe we'll throw some college basketball in, you and I. Yeah.
Oh. Shout out to the comment section. A lot of invaluable information in the comment section. Jeff Nadu, thanks so much for taking me off of Colorado, and we'll see you next week.